Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here for the What's Next. Happy Thursday. It seems like, and I've said this before, that everything is revolving around the Ukraine-Russia invasion, the war that's going on there right now. But this story, I want to hope it has nothing to do with Ukraine and Russia, but then again, you never know. This story is about Americans getting screwed over once again. And of course, your friendly neighborhood politicians have their entire body involved in this because they don't give a about you or your family or anything that revolves around you. Facts. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Democrats passed $1.5 trillion omnibus spending bill after Democrat disarray. Surprised? House Democrats passed $1.5 trillion omnibus spending bill after hours of delay and a Democratic confusion. House Democrats passed a $1.5 trillion omnibus spending bill, which was separated into two votes. The first half focusing on security funding passed 361 to 69. The second, featuring the remaining of the spending bill, passed 260 to 171. How much you want to make a bet that there are Republicans involved in this boondoggle? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, HAG, held the vote on a spending bill after hours of delay and confusion. The bill originally had $15 billion in COOF aid. Pelosi moved to strip the COOF aid after facing steep opposition from her own caucus. Democrats had agreed to include offsets of the bill, but many Democrats across the spectrum raised concerns about the bill removing state aid to offset the cost of the COOF aid. In a statement about the move, Pelosi blamed the Republicans. Of course, even though it was Democrats that had raised the issues with the bill in her own caucus. Quote, because of Republican insistence, the resistance of a number of our members to make those offsets, we will go back to the Rules Committee to remove COOF funding to meet the needs of American families. Yes, because we care about you, she wrote in a letter to the House Democrats earlier on Wednesday. The Democrats' division on the COOF offsets occurred when Representative Joni Heiss, Republican, offered to motion to adjourn, which continued for hours, and Democrats could not figure out how to address the issue, just like everything else they did. Democrats' leadership had to move the bill back to the Rules Committee to address the Democratic concerns. The delay of passing the omnibus bill, which must be passed before Friday to avoid government shutdown, of course, because there's always a government shutdown, put off a House Democrat retreat in Philadelphia, PA. The Democrat retreat will feature a man who presents himself as a parody of a woman in drag to entertain Democrat lawmakers as they design their election strategy ahead of the pivotal 22 midterm elections. Democrat leaders say they will proceed to Philadelphia by bus this evening immediately following the last votes. At the conclusion of the votes, members should proceed quickly as possible to get the hell out of Dodge. The bill will provide Ukraine with over $13 billion in new humanitarian, economic, and military assistance in conflict with Russia. $13 billion. We have over 50,000 military who are homeless right now, lining the streets of America. We have cities that are in disarray because of drugs and violence. But yet, like I said, I'm not trying to be not passionate about the concerns of the Ukrainians because those people are suffering. But at the same time, we have our own suffering going on in this country, but yet, there you go. The omnibus bill the omnibus spending bill contains many leftist, woke, and climate change carve-outs. Again, surprised? The legislation includes a provision to expand diversity, equality, inclusion at the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Yes, because that's what you need, more of that. You don't need experience. You don't need those who actually know what the fuck they're talking about. Just make sure what's between your legs and what you think you are. Wow. The omnibus spending bill funds border security 8 foreign countries while including no new funds to construct a border wall on our southern border. These motherfuckers. A Republican study committee messaging document obtained by Breitbart News found that the bill has many issues, including a bill that would spend over $100 billion for Green New Deal initiatives. Again, surprised? and advance the, quote, racial justice throughout the Department of Agriculture. Yes, again, you don't need experience, just the right skin color. The bill also contains $100 million for environmental justice. Yes, make sure you protect that little turtle. God forbid you create jobs. Activities at the Environmental Protection Agency, and $75 million for low or zero emission vehicles. $26 billion in food stamp funding. First spending bill to include earmarks. Yes, the return of the earmarks. Wow. No protections from Chinese espionage to grants at National Science Foundation. Okay, because you can't bite the hand that feeds you. Increase National Institutes of Health funding by 10%. Provide $66 million for racial and ethnic approaches to community health. It's called REACH. An increase of $8 million from last year. Heritage Foundation found that the bill would spend taxpayers' funds to Planned Parenthood. Again, surprised? Representative Andy Biggs of Republican Arizona, who voted against the omnibus, said in a statement on Wednesday, this bill would exacerbate our out-of-control spending at a time when the national debt has surpassed $30 trillion. $30 trillion. When Trump left office, it was at 21. It was at 21 when Trump left office. No, 21, 24. I think it was, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, it was more like 24, 23, 24 when he left office. So in a year plus, we've broken the $30 trillion mark. Yeah. But China will bail us out because they own half of us anyway. Congress cannot continue this cycle of reckless spending. The bill would dramatically increase the deficit, leaving a massive bill for our children to pay. Yes, just like the last Congress and the Congress before that and the Congress before that and the Congress before that. Your great, slap great 10 times over. They will be paying this debt. My thoughts. Once again, Democrats are pathetic. They're absolutely pathetic, ignorant mofos. But then again, we had the same situation with the Republicans when Trump was in office, and we had both the House and the Senate, and yet we were still spending like the old adage, drunken sailors. It was done under Reagan. It was done under Bush. It was done under Clinton. It was done under Bush again. It was done under Obama. It was done under Trump. And now it's done under Dementia Joe. Again, no one should be surprised by this. Trump signed a $1.5 trillion spending bill in his first 2 years in office, which of course he said afterwards he would never sign one again, which he didn't. He stuck to his guns on that. I give him credit for that. But again, when gas prices are through the roof, food prices are going up. You have the situation with with supply chains. You now have the situation with Ukraine, but you want to give $13 billion to Ukraine for humanitarian aid. But yet, when you have those who are starving in this country, when you need our border secure, fuck that. Basically telling the Americans, once again, bend over and take it with no KY. Wow. And again, no surprise. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we catch you guys next time. Peace.